nhớ rằng bé ý cho là sự kiện chẳng hà chụp hết rồi cho sáng cái mà tàu ra các tuần chơi bé ý cho mong rất là nhớ chùa hồ bé Hmong Report mà nó giờ im mặc cái chuyện trên của yêu thang là giờ bé Hmong Report yêu thang mình chỉ dùng đấy cho công trình cái bộ tàu ốp hà tập blog cho xong mong chú kế bạn mình ha chú kế đặt ăn YouTube hoặc là blog cho xong ha đặt cái mà sai tiền cũ lúc này thầu họ dùng để trang tiền cái chú kế tròn tàu dạng nhớ cho hú bây giờ thang mình chỉ dùng tập blog cho xong chú kế bộ cho tôi bộ nhớ tôi luôn trong Saint Paul Saint Minnesota sau lần đó lại bây giờ thang dùng được lúc công vụ Hải Mông cái giờ lúc ít xong từ bộ trong sản lãng ra trong đó là bây giờ thang mình chỉ dùng được lại documentary bộ hồ ta operation Popcomเขาnói giờ ít lại documentary thằng chú ha chỉ chú trong đó trong bao là họ kể cái bộ tàu chọn về trên hệ mông chú sinh giờ chỉ thằng phong ha đủ đồ có ý đồ đủ đồ lô tô gì trong đó lại bây giờ cho mấy số là họ chỉ đặt một chỗ lúc trong phát thiết nó giờ ilu của nhau rồi yang cọ tên để cho là chùa bố gò rồi chặt tên để cho nhân lang để cho là chùa bây giờ thảm mình chỉ cho con đó sau mà một họ tiêu tốt là cũng một cái luận chỉ mày cho xét sinh on đồ chùa bố rồi bây số là đều là của giờ anh vào nhau chùa Hmong Report bây giờ là sự kiện chẳng hai trong phiên xuất lời nhớ tập blog cho xong bây giờ phụ nữ cho là chùa xong y phản cho buổi sáng cho chứ thọ lúc chứ liền đâu nút thì cậu chứ tự phụ nữ cho là chùa tôi giờ blog cho xong lúc tự rồi xong nó lại giờ ít xong cười xuất lời thì đã luôn YouTube ha đã có là sai chủ lúc này tăng luôn cái tê kế ở chùa cho là giờ cho nhà thì cái chơi phơi để cho tôi cho kìa tại lúc này ta lúc hai lúc này ta sử dụng cho xong bên mong họ dùng một cái chàng lại họ đây là nhót trôn tại luôn trong Saint Paul Saint Minnesota bố của tàu lục ôi họ kê cho lúc này ta lúc tôi một cho kê tôi rất là tôi này tôi sai nhót được trong Sacramento nhót được số họ cho là polymo để sử dụng trong Sacramento bên cụ họ một coverage tàu chỉ bên họ một sai được cho nhót rồi bên Saint Paul vậy
cú sai thì họ nói họ dùng một chút xíu nhớ cho họ dùng Saint Paul Saint Minnesota và lò lợn đào xong ở bên chỗ mua sẽ đào để bên chỗ mua cầu xong nâng cầu xong bên chỗ xong chỉ đào nó thật xong bao chỗ xong bên nhớ đồ nó anh nó cũng bảo cho nhiều cho gì cho tu cho kỳ cho nên cho trái để cho mình cả sẽ được tôi sai trong cần kia lấy bây giờ mà một thay gì tôi sẽ được bỏ thì sẽ được tôi trong bộ lịch trả họ nói họ dùng cái kiểu nó họ lu Minnesota History Center nó là cả mua lu chạy lu nhung lu chuyện nóไปตัวดิสเพลย์ไปมองระดับหนึ่งเนี่ยอีเตียเท่าอีเตียเลียอีเปลือกก็หมดไทยก็จะปอเตียปีปูเท่าอีเทียไปปัวอ้อปัวเลยไปปัวปล้อปัวบีซีเราจะรู้แต่ชินเราเตียช่วงระหว่างช่วงเราจะช่วงเราในสุดมองยอดเขาตือมองยอดเขาเดินมั่วได้ชิดมองจงก็ปีปูไปมองกเรียเราชัวเต้เราตัวไทยเต้เนี่ยเราเต้เราตัวเต้ไทยมีการเนาะจะขณะที่เขาเดี๋ยวจงคือเกตเราเราจุ่มไปมองจะคนจะจงชอมั่วเต้ยของโอเลี้ยวเต้เจ็บพอว่าสุดท้ายสุดอยากจะเราดิสเพลย์หัวหน้าขณะที่เขาแค่ตัวจงมีการสุดเป้าเดียเป็นมองอยู่ตัวจะได้เห็นมีการจีฮะเดี๋ยวไปเนี่ยไปหลักตัวจะมั่วเขาคอสมั่วเขาว่าอะไรให้มีการไปเขาเกกงเตว่าไปนอชิตเอาเนี่ยชิตเอาไปที่ตัวเศร้าเดี๋ยวเจว่าเลยไปยิงชิตเอาตัวได้เฉยๆที่ยังเขาจงหัง
อีเขากุศลปอตัวแค่เราเนาะวิธีเขาแต่เป็นมวยจอนเนี่ยจะจีจะมีตัวมีอยู่ตัวปอแต่เก่งกือเลยมองทันนั่งเราเต้นอยู่จื้อนั่งเราเต้นอยู่นั่งเราเต้นอยู่เกิดเราที่จุดตานั้น是古木ปอยเลยด้วยเนี่ยต่อ头路用我穿着的头也是的是真要红叶用我都不说嘛我ปอแต่อย่างนั้นมาตัวเชื่อ跟我在工作人เนี่ยสิจังตัวมา我都了受伤痕了有点了杀着头了เนี่ยเนี่ยขนาดนั้นเจแล้วยอดจะรุ่นในปอ头里ปลาจะชงตัวเรา了กู我都了เนี่ยนะอ้วนจะจะตัวตาเสียนึงที่จะจะรุ่นในยาตลอดแล้วอีคอเคเราไปช่วยเช่น总之呢อี叫เรามันยีชัวเลยจ้ะท่าน
อีคนจีคอเดียไปว่าคนนั้นอีคนจงคอเดียไปเคลียร์ตัวจงมีการเราเสด็จปอตัวใช้ไปจะใจยงเสือเนี่ยอีคอตัวอีคอไปเตะโคชเตะนอมีการปอเดียไปจะโคชจงหน่อยแล้วก็ตัวไปจะโคชอีคอก็เลยปอจะไปโคชจะไปยิงวัวโคชที่เราคนเดียวจะตู้จะเกี่ยวตัวอยู่ตัวรอได้ใช่มีการเนาะเลยจี包着也打到了路那个的被洗了就那我好被洗了就我那我也就啥子也得也用了得也我就都就记了哟用些的了哟个到更也那种来可能也可 very good 就说的多可以。
古时的这当地呢，这时候当地呢被我呢也被我也开着的路那呀对前面干呢被好 chủ sĩ tàu đa chỉ là ba bê sinh thế là ba lúc tới khi mình càng là chỉ thế ya ông lại cụ thể hay thầu ý qua đâu trên nó bọn là thầu bê nhau thì uế phát kỳ chỉnh trước tới khi mà bê một chân chỉ là phát kỳ mình cả đây là bê một chân chỉ là mình cả nhau thầu sát tí tức là lọt cho thay là bê mông một chân chỉ là thay theo thay nó cả lại thế này ya mà hiện là tới sau khi mình cả nó là bê tàu khởi bê tới kinh cử tới cho cha cho ya bê luôn nên tới khi mình cả nó còn lấy bỏ thì bê một chân chỉ một chả là thế mà tới rồi toàn đây nó cầu tới sau nên cầu bê cho bê xong rồi nó bê cũng chỉ bảo tới rồi bê cũng thì toàn đây là bê cũng mấy ít từ cho mình nhà mong thế ya ít từ cho khuyên nhà mong là thế này nè chỉ thầu bê một cho khác nó lại này chỉ còn này khó dùng bê bí khởi bê bao thì bê tao bao cho xong rồi toàn đây là bao xong đây là dùng đi chả chỉ bê tu bỏ lên nó thì uo đi chả lại chỉ bê bao khởi là thế bê bông ba là thế bê bao mùa uo lại hay cho nó cho chữ cho trồng phứ thế này thì bê tông cản này ba bê thế này bê khởi bê tại kinh cử này chỉ bê chỉ sai cái ít bộ xong rồi này bê chỉ là chơi thì thổi lúc này dùng đi chả ya cái bê sai cái bao ấy ta chỉ nó một chút đó là thế này bê khởi chia toàn đây là bê thì chỉ một chơi nó là này chỉ khả năng gì khó chỉnh chỉnh được bê.
Brian, can you share about your little bit about information about today about this event?
Today's event is overwhelming. We are absolutely overwhelmed. We've never seen anything like this at the Minnesota History Center. It's been open since 1992, almost 25 years now, and this is the biggest crowd we've ever seen for an exhibition opening. It's a really good thing. It's a good problem to have, but it's a huge crowd of people. We are so pleased that the Hmong community has turned out in such gigantic numbers.
I think it's since for 40 years from now, this Hmong can live in Minnesota here. So yourself, what do you think about this?
I first knew about Hmong people when I moved here 25 years ago in 1990, and at that time, Hmong people were still struggling. But now I think this is the community is completely transformed. And 40 years after the original landing in Minnesota in 1975, the community is strong and vibrant, resilient, really accomplished. And we're just so grateful to have Hmong people here sharing their stories with us at the Minnesota History Center.
One thing you're interested about Hmong culture?
One thing that I'm interested in about Hmong culture, I'm really interested in the art and the artists. The Hmong people have had a very, very long, thousands of year old tradition of making art and of artistic expression. And I'm really impressed with the young people today, the 20-somethings, the millennial generation, the artists of the millennial generation who are producing art that is really sensitive and thoughtful and looking backwards as well as looking forwards. Really a wonderful selection of those works by those young artists is here in the exhibition, and I hope people come to see it.
Cú sa tiền nó nói inu chỉnh chính chấp lời đã có bên mong tàu tua nhau lúc đây chờ và mình tàu plau cho chồng nó chế bên chờ luôn là yên cần tàu trắng tàu giả thiết số là yên mua chờ exhibition và bên cần sa bên lịch kinh cử chế của trong xe hay tiền môn nên trong tua ở lưu chế bùng bò lên nào.
Có bao giờ thế kinh cử lên nó chỉ nhỏ bé hay nên mong là giờ này cho lúa cái chỗ khởi kinh cử đó bé cho tú cho xài luôn nâng là giờ toàn thế lấy cái bao để mong tôi thế mong dùng đi chả.
Giờ mà bé yên yo chủ tàu khởi bé tên lịch kinh cử giờ hay tia bé tua nhau luôn tu cởi luật sư là bé yo chuẩn chọn trong hay tia bé yếm mong tia bé tua nhau lúc đấy chờ và mình yo chuẩn chọn trong hay tia bé tua họ tự tua tia.
Ý là cái hay là giờ chơi rồi bé chỉ này cho gì à tia có yo chủ tàu sắp bỏ chơi mong kinh cử chơi chơi đó.
Thọ có ý trong liệt sĩ cái tin anh cha chờ ba thợ lấy tên mi tu mi nhiều cả trâu xe một cần đau cần đỡ là cần chọn trong hay tia có khi lấy cho bé mong tên lịch kinh cử tia.
Họ nói là tàu trong xe tàu chi và mình mua cái cô ấy tu khi đi khi nào khả năng community nhau nó hỗn nó thế khi nó bây giờ nhiệt sĩ cứ đến nơi cha sẽ rộng nó tới rồi thay rồi đó thì cho chỉ hay mong sự mình cả tới là hay nên tôi bỏ mong tới kinh cử còn nó có hay khi bây giờ nhiệt sĩ
Lu we are Minnesota lo ya hata pe ya mong Minnesota no ya I call exhibit pe tu họ lấy cho ở sông nó pe mà lên ba tàu nữa để cho khổng nó để pe khờต่อpe cho mong hay mong cho khổng pe cho sự là bỏ thì pe cho mong cho cái cho nhẹ thế nhau Minnesota nó ya lấy cha thế vẫn cho cái vẫn mình thế cho cái nhau hồ Minnesota nhau lấy cha
อีขอคือมงแต่เก่งกือลีน่ะคือเจียมาชิยงยีเกเลยแต่ขอจงนั้นเนี่ยชอบเฟินเตนบอกเลยจะที่ชุชิจงเลยเนาะ
โอ้เป็นที่เคยก่อเตยส่งเนอะจะเป็นมาเลยใช้สลาตันชอจะเป็นมาโมจะมีการใช้จะมีการมาเลยจะใช้แต่จะน้อยจะเป็นสันโซจะเป็นยิ่งคลักเลยก่อเตยหนึ่งก่อเตยส่งเท่าจะคงนั้นนะจะเป็นมาเลยจอจุกเลยจอก็เลยใช้สุดเลยใช้หรือมาเลยจะ exhibitor จะไปใช้
ก็ภาษาแต่อย่างเราเนาะอยู่เรื่องคอร์มีการยอดจอมงเก่งกือยาตาเลยฮะแต่วันเดียวตัวนี้เราได้จะในยินวีที่จะเชื่อที่ตัวนี้เราได้จะในขอเลยขอจริง
โอ้จริงๆจำเลยจะขอแต่มีการยิ่งปอเป้แต่สิเราจะปอแต่โอ้ยังเป้หอยย่อเลยรู้จอจะเป็นเทเลคาแต่เป็นตัวอย่างจอเมตัวจอตัวซีเป็นหมายเลยตัวเตะชนเป็นโอ้หรือจอเมจอคอมพานีเป็นยาเมจอเองเลยแท้จะจริงๆจำเลย
อีอย่างเราจะตู้จอนชายเราจะ包จอไปจอเนี่ยจะสีเก่งกือลีโน่ในมดจอเราในเชื่อตัวใช้มันนอเลยคนนอเนี่ยก็กูยังตัวรัวแต่ก็ยังกูคนจะไปจอนตู้จอนชายเนี่ยเราแต่ว่าต่อเจ๊ฮะเดียแต่เขา用了几年有ตัวเขาที่几年有ตัวถั่วเขานักเที่ยวก็还能没干那包的被只给能到里多被一摸证据太多，然后对就没干了。
要个这个在被就没有嘛，被留言只包在路蒙阳子，被就蒙阳子嘅，来睇嚟包嚟喏，就来睇嚟包的哦，佢拿得只要在拿到了，然后对就没干多呢，被因摸靠 struggle，被因摸靠 journey，多对就喏，被睇嚟就对就没干睇下，结果就没有睇嚟包好。
ก็ภาษาแต่พอจีนจะตู้จอนชายอยู่จุดตัวเขาได้เก่งขึ้นเราลุ้นนึงอีปล่อยชงเลยยะตอนนี้
โอ้ขอมาจริงๆจำเลยจะขอแต่เลยนู้นแต่ก็ย้อนหนึ่งอันจีเกี่ยวกับแต่เปี้ยมงแต่สิเราจะจะเอาลูมงเลยเนี่ยจะอยู่จุดเคยจะรู้ที่อยู่จุดเคยเปี้ยแต่เก่งขึ้นหน่อยที่เลยจอต่อแต่มงย้อนจี
แต่อย่างช่วงนี้เนาะมงเก่งขึ้นเจียนเนาะก็ตัวเก่งสายจะสนุนเนาะจะเนี่ยสิก็จะตัวใช้จงกันคนไทยก็ตัวเก่งก็สายจะ
ภาษาเดียวของเราอย่างนู้นจริงๆชอบเราจะเป็นมงเก่งขึ้นมงเป็นตัวนี้เราได้เชื่อไม่กู้เลยได้เชื่อในการต่อปลอดจริญนู่นอะไรนู่นจังจังวิธีเขาเดียเราเลยรู้สิเหรอกู้จีอย่างนั้นก็สาธิตปลอดจริญมันแต่ก็ต้องสิเราเลยเชื่อที่ยาทั่วไปใช้ให้เราเป็นตัวมันต่ออาบิเดียนนั่งเราจะสมัยเจเนอเรชันนั้นที่ต่อเป็นของตัววันหนึ่งถนัดตัวปีเป็นวันหนึ่งเชื่อเราได้เชื่ออเมริกาเราจะไม่กู้ละแต่นู่นไปจำมองเนี่ยเราเมลสรานะกุศลมั่งปังสือเกิดกุทอวัชโดโนบ้างเที่ยตัวเมลสรา historical society วิตัวขัดเยบัวเลยแต่เราได้ชื่อใจ elected official เลยปัญญาเสียเราตัว historical society ตัวเที่ยวตัวเที่ยว exhibits เราชาวเป็นมองแต่ด้านหนึ่งแต่ดูว่าเขาแต่เนี่ยนะกันคือเจ้เจโรไปได้มีตัวมีอยู่อยากไปชัวเขาเนี่ยอยากเขาจงชับเลย
ก็ภาษาแต่ไอ้บุษย์รู้นะอยากเท่าโจตรงนั้นจะมีการเราตัวปอมงเก่งคือที่ตัวปอมงเนี่ยอยากตลอดเลยก็สาเดียวเขานอนเลยสาเลยจ้ะ
เราจะเป็นสังอเมริกามาเราจงเชื่อที่เราขวาเลยที่เราปอแต่เขาเนี่ยอยากเขาอาชีexhibit เขียนยี่ห้อ educational อย่างนั้น project เขียนจะเป็นมองกันคือประวัติไปเขาอาชีพจุจีเรามาดูแต่อยากไปตัวหนึ่งอเมริกาเชียนเราได้ชนะไปตัวป้าไปลูกคิมิวรีไปลูกสังเลยไปลูกที่เชื่อเขาได้อยากอย่างนี้ได้โอ้โหเลยเทเชหมู่เจ้าเกี่ยไปได้จุจี cultural social economic contribution ตัวไปลูกคิมิวรีไปลูกสังเราหมดไปลูกที่เชื่ออเมริกาเชียร์เลยอย่างน้อยจะไปมองดูที่เจอน้อยจะไปยังหนึ่งอเมริกาที่อยากจะกันเนาะแล้วจากนั้นไปสหรัฐอเมริกามาแล้วขอได้เราจงเชื่อจะรีอย่างนี้หุ่นนี้ที่ปอดเดียวเราเชื่อเป็นมองตัวชัวร์รู้อย่างเราคงเชิงหุ่นเราจะต้องมาม้วนเต้าอย่างนั้นจันอเมริกาเรามาตัวเต็มเราจะจืดเราก็ตัวจะเป็นพังเท้าไปรู้กงเชิงหุ่นเราขณะยังเขาจงชับไหลก็สาดขณะเชื่อเขาจงตัวไปจำห้องเป็นสวรรค์แต่สมัยจงตัวเป็นพังเนี่ยเราท่องประเทศอเมริกามันตัวลูกอันตัวคือจะแสดงจะชนะจะให้ตัวปอโอ้โห ทีวีนะบอกเลยอย่าตัวออนไลน์อย่าอินเทอร์เน็ตแต่เราก็สาธิตกับเป็นมังยาปูรู้ต้องปูทั้งกันด้วยแต่ขนาดนู้นเราจะนู้นจังจังเราเป็นมังท่านาตัวนี้เราจะแข่งรายการเราเขาจะไปว่าตัวขยันเจนรองปูตัวไปสั่งพังเสด็จเนี่ยทั้งปูกันดูตัวป่อตัวไว้คำพูดที่น่าจะไปมังตัวนี้เราจะแข่งไปกู้ไปว่าไม่จงริจาไปจงริจาไปหาลงริจาไปอย่างนั้นไปช่วยไปหายาหมู่ตัวผู้ช่วยก็ด่วนสิขนาดจะเขาจง
อย่าเขาบอกกูต้องเสียชับเปล่าแต่นู่นนอเป็นพองมอมเป็นตัวเหลือหายในเลยเป็นหมดปอนตอนรู้มีเสียเลยนอตัวเสียจะหมดเป็นหมอเตเชนู่นนออย่าอินโนต้องเสียชับเปล่าปอเป็นหมอเนี่ยตัวรู้เตชอเมริกานั่นจะมีเสียเลย
กูต้องเสียหายนู่นนอเนี่ยนะเป็นตัวใช้เตนอมาตีจากการสอนเจียรู้นั่งกูก้าขอนอยากขอว่าจูรู้เป็นกันก็เลยว่าจูเตจอตัวเป็นตัวเนี่ยรู้เตจะว่าแม่งแต่โอโจตัวจอเมริกาจังตัวป้าเป็นใส่ตัวรู้เตเชอเมริกาเนาะรอแล้วจึงจะจะแต่ยังอีกอย่างนึงจะ做嘢的是จึง冇得根據上冇得自己上แล้วจึง上先冇被得多的กู得了找着可能有一考上更高的被可能有被考察被上先行
แต่根據蒙呢那個實在不只要冇做開個，但係都沒有啦，包被蒙路能嚟呀，當的。
可能有一個正要更高，都可能咁麼說話就能多人哋俾人哋錢那樣啦。落啲多人哋差咧，啲即就播移教，即就播移教大，讓你即移播，他長得就說多，嗰些就單啊落就啲就知道幫我。這邊呢有好多即就播下教知識，這邊去開就。一波上當地那邊就幫大了，嘛要你那嘛古啥還就可能有個直接更高，就東財路了，要條路路公眾Minnesota History Center 那來做，然後俾公地開俾啲啲度了，要俾咗 culture artifacts 啲那，可能有一個政治落更高呢，要俾蒙，俾到小開添，要俾什麼空啊？啲高了就不見了呀，俾到開的話就那呢弄，要波上當地那俾咗咪都咪有就難不好大多呢。จะถอนรวมมาเลยปอดต่อให้เตียนเจ๋งบ่จานะพญาต่อเสียเป้มาเป้เตียเจ๋งเตียนเตียเตียนจัวโลตัวนั้นปั้นเต้าโลเตียนมาตัวขอเตียเป็นยอกาลอจะเป็นสายเตียเจ๋งอ่ะเตียสิเป้จุสาขอเตียอีปัวปัวช่องตอนเตียนเนี่ยเจ๋งบ่จานั่นน่ะ
วันที่อยู่新嘅個播發到我俾落嚟俾咗都轉晒話你學住包龍蒙啦，大家都播得廿種那個係你廿到俾咗嚟先，個點樣俾都轉晒。
cái lồng mông là mà loa hay tiệtตัวเป๊ะเตี๋ยได้เช่นอเมริกานะเจษฎายิ่งป้องชาจอดชีฝงปัวเป็นเขาตัวเตี๋ยซึ่งเตี๋ยอ้อเนาะซึ่งจะเป็นป้องแรงแต่ชาจอดชีฝงปัวเลยมายาลินอเป็นจอเนี่ยจอจีก็เป็นจุดสีจอเตี๋ยเขาเป็นจอลูเวียเตี๋ยเป็นป้องลูจะเป็นป้องเป็นจอเกลี่ยเกใจเนี่ยเลยเป็นจอได้จอขวดเต้นหน่อยหลงมงเป็นจอจีไซเต้เลยหลงมงจะถ้าเป็นป้องหลงมงจะเป็นป้องตาเนาะมายาลินอมาเป็นตัวเขาในเมื่อชัวจะฆ่านะแต่ชินอแล้วจะก็ตีเราว่าโครงการเกิดแล้วจะลูเวียแต่แล้วจะลูป้องตาถ้าโอ้ยได้ตัวจะได้ว่าเราจู้จะเลยจะลูป้องเลยแต่ในน้องเราจะรัฐบาลจะป้าเนี่ยเราก่อนแล้วเคยตอนเราจะลูเป็นเนาะเป็นอย่างเขาตัวเตี๋ยลิกุปตากูหายเนาะอย่างเขาตัวเตี๋ยอ้อซึ่งเจียเราเป็นจุกเคยเตี๋ยจะลูเขาจะเจ๊งกันก่อนเป็นเทป preserve ต่อเป็นจะมองให้เตี๋ยมองยาลังตื้อมองยาเขาตื้อมองจะตัวเขาตัวเราจะลูเนาะจะมองเป็นชีขี้เตาก็ต่อกูต่อก็นะมาจะเนี่ยจะจีก็จีสักเท่าให้เดียจ่ายจีมีก็จีต้องต่อยาตัวเป้าลมมงเลยจะมาเกิดลมในกายจะตัวน้อยจะตัวใจชานั่นรอให้น่ะจะยันเลยน้อยจะก็เสือเดี๋ยวเสือเตี้ยเลยไปเผาเนาะหมดจะเผายาวเนาะใจจังชา
อุตสาหเดียเขาน้อยจะเคลียร์เขาจังตัวรุ่นเดียเต้จะปอเทจิตปอแล้วมาลิตุปอแล้วมาปอเขาเดียเป้จะเกี่ยวเป้ป้าตัวรู้เต้รู้เชิญยอดตัวรู้เต้เชิญอเมริกานะยาอีกเขาจริงยอดเดี๋ยวเลยปอตัวเต้นอเลยมาจีนยอเลยยอ respect เป้เทียจีดานเล่นได้เราเต้มีตัวมีหนัวต่อก้านเราเลยหล่อหลับหมดเลยยาปอตัวอีกเขาด้านหนึ่งฮะเดียจีจงเลยถั่วอู้สมัยถั่วอู้จะเรายอดตัวสุดเต้แล้วเขียนลายจีมัวอันนี้นะ evidence ได้จีตัวเป้ตัวคณะหมูเจคณะยาอีกเขาเขียนจังฮะเดียจะเราเนาะเจเราเลย一切老对多就入来，别人去保讲这么，就是讲呢，要一家跟你呢，做完的别叫老叫别说的多的可能，要一靠看我一家的人看到论的这个要保证啊的，别还忙，要还忙记住， rồi nhớ số tao trong số ta chỉ lưu xia theo luôn chữ theo cho cái xã đó là nó chữ theo cho cái rồng bên mua nhớ trong được bên thực hành
cũng bỏ mà cũng mà lọt cái theo vì nó phát hiện cũng bỏ họ để thằng bây giờ lôi chơi mà bây giờ còn mà đàn á chỉ bây giờ tôi sai cho nhá hồng già nó nè sai cho nhá hồng già nó mà lò đi à đi thì nó nhỏ cho cá lòi thâu thế là ban nhân cái na thâu đó là bây giờ tôi sang bây giờ tôi anh bây giờ là cái tôi giờ tôi cho nên chơi theo một thay thế na và cũng bỏ mà cũng mà lọt cái nữa
ý giờ tôi cũng tàu chỉ tàu không mà giờ cho nên suy đua tiền tàu chế tàu cho nên giờ ít giờ như mua cái tôi sẽ tàu thì cho tôi suy đi suy bỏ thế tôi mua lúc này
lúc nào giờ lúc chỉnh chỉnh hànhวันนี้nó bây giờ là bây mong giờ là tàu tua sai bây giờ cũng chân cũng tệ và mua nên để lọ thì bây giờ chỉnh cho cá là mua bây giờ này cho chỉ bao thì bây giờ mình tu nhiều chỉ bao là mua thì lúc nào mua chỉ ta nhớ đồ nữa mong phải sai nữa nó để cũng走些thế用些cho để nó sẽ được tàu làm ba cho cũng chân cũng tệ nó thế cho sẽ là mua cho nó và công ty tàu chua bút kia đó bây giờ mình tu nhiều thì giờ họ cái cỡ thế kinh chọn để bây mong luôn này
bây giờ bay này tại bây giờ cho nên là cho lúc bây giờ là chỉ mua chỉ giờ này bây giờ từ lúc châu hàng chỉ có tàu hôm nay mà cần là office rồi bây giờ này lúc một xích chùaจะbay chỉ bây giờ xin tàu bây giờ tụi tôi này tròn tê lúc xí hẳn đó
ส่วนไปหาลูกมาใช้ตัวทางสู้แล้วจะเป็นสุดแล้วมาใช้ตัวลูกกองหูหัวแต่หายมงกองหูหายมงหน่อยใช่ลูกกองหูคือจีจางเตาเลยคือเอาไปลูกช่องลูกแล้วตัวnhớ trốn đã luôn trong sinh hoạt trong nó cùi hay lưu bố tại anh nhiều mi đình cũng mua cho nó cho ô cho nó tơ cũng mua trong thủ tổ mà mua cái thảm bệ là cái hạt sâu ha bang trộn lúc này rồi giá số giờ lại con nói giờ họ cái số mông cũng mua cho tu mà mua cho số sự là pe họ cho nó chọn vì hay tại pe mông report ha số mông cùi hay ít tu hết sức giờ là pe cùi rồng sa tại cùi mua cho tu mua số sự nhớ trốn đã luôn trong sinh hoạt của trường mua tàu tây giác lên nói cho nó pe là lúc sau của cha mẹ mình chỉ đồ lúc trong sa lan nhớ trốn đã luôn trong sinh hoạt sinh Minnesota
còn hổm luôn về thì mà họ còn trồng hải mông này luôn về tới giờ và lúc bây lúc còn hổm nó lúc non-profit organization lúc còn hổm ba cái rò là chỉ biết một tỷ luôn về họ còn trồng hải mông
lúc còn hổm nó này từ pi là tàu hòn đế rồi theo lúc họ phiên lúc còn hổm nó giờ đã chưa
lúc còn họ nó bé copy chỉ từ thả bộ thổ áp phá cổ lò rồi, thế chỉ họ bé mua trà kia rồi đó lúc làm Minnesota nó với lúc non-profit organization thì xong lúc có liền được vấn đề cổ truy xong áp phá cổ y lúc rừng mòn đó lúc còn họ nó giờ sao là sang cả để bỏ bộ bé mông có sẽ được nhớ họ từ lò với hai nên nhớ một hư chỉ và lúc này vàng mình nhớ họ từ lò cứ tàu nó tàu họ từ ba chỉ này họ từ bé lúc rừng mòn
但是呢，就煮咗啦，就俾喺你蒙路啊，免俾人老公那中部你就那個別劇到俾人就只有台灣到這啲啊，個你包啲老公後來都逼到啊，俾用啦，就發掉啦。
老公後呢，又俾家老包婆俾蒙就又蒙路彈咗，就出出到蒙又煮咗啦，就是用地煮到啲人多啲温度。nó chỉ biết mua e level chủ chốt thành khó cá, giờ cho yo tàu tôi nào biết ở đâyวันnụ, nó chỉ chọn được biết active members, nó chỉ chọn được biết mua lại áp bộ tự rồi xong nó họ sẽ được chỉ tao là membership chỉ thì lúc còn họ nó giờ sẽ được lúc lên từ xã tôi chủ chốt ở ít tệ hơn nữa, nó nút từ là những tàu hết trong lụt tàu, nó đó là ý cho chỉ tao thì sáng giờ họ chỉ có member nó có chọn được giờ biết anh tệ tôi hơn nữa, họ chỉ là cái rồi有只有开始把它好领对那样，那就叫别么别只开好到多好了，那就么了不得多。
thôi được hắn gì là cho và họ thì họ chỉ cho tuần thôi này khi đi kiến nụ thì chỉ有我 member 都好是呢，有主到多 member ที่họ thể phí lý giá 都好，ที่เราhọ走giá lý giá。
只thể phí vì lúc còn họ nói要mong lúc，只要领到出到 automatically 已經有 member 都好了，要你俾một cái job kia cái shit thả đó就là俾một thả số tông one đu rú，要領到啥都個啥都唔弄啥都那俾話shit khoa shit kia shit đầu chữ gì nó chỉ nhữngตัวtàu đặt số lối chạy chỉ thể nhẹตัวđâu sự họ tụt nợ là những chỉ bông ý đồ nhẹ họ cho biết ở đây họ nụ ok nó chỉ biết thể nhẹ ý là ý bộ là ý cái tàu nhẹ cho là budget tàu nhẹ cho là xí thế chỉ họ thì họ nhẹ để cho chạy khi bây giờ tôi đây ôn nổi ôn già ôn dừng ôn đâu hú và có chờ đợi đèn đá lá xanh này tôi đây tôi nổi giờ tôi thấy bộ đồ lá nữa ok
ý有如果出生咗冇論能力有呢個睇到邊陣係有知啲為啲有啲主張如果可能咯手啲睇冇力個如果係但係咯有個出生咗冇能力有同啲有得住
有個出生咗咯有冇做事啊因為啲冇有個對咯被整治到八到被讀傾嘅被論能用嚟治考嘅有被哪間要用又被哪隻間要治用cho nên bây giờ sẽ trong này lú họ có thể bây giờ ý ảnh nên giờ ví dụ ba chỉ tàuอยู่ตัว kinh tế họ chưa chơi thì giờ mỗi khó chỉ tàuอยู่là nhà trong nàyอยู่chỉ tàu luôn đàn đó nên chỉ tàu cơ thì giờ mỗi 有做些保险này cũng như些怎么做些hành họ có thể cũng như些怎么luôn nên cái gì cái trái cho họ thì bây giờ có từ là bây giờ sau lo lựa hành này cho chung thì giờ bây chỉ ở đi trong tổ thì bây giờ chỉ mua sau khi ở mong nó做康子了现在梦觉得都得给有ปลาที่อยากว่า你要被不碰还蒙
bây giờ là sự định trạng hai trong bây giờ ta nói bây họ như là một thằng là cho mấy số là mình chỉ đồ họ cái sự thằng đồ đồ rich value ha từ David David Gabi ya itu director thang là ya lu ke lu ot lại movie cái documentary chung da lu ho da Operation Popcorn là pon ji chung da cho trong plong đường đó chỉ thành phong han rồi có ít thôi cái tàu trâu rồi thành phong bố cho nó cho ổn đó thầu cái bố cho cái tới mình tan thao sẽ để rồi là xong ở phản gì sẽ để bố tu pi họ lại mua vịt để tàu luôn là na chỉ tu nhập họ xong nó chỉ bố cũng nhập ổn ta lại bố tan tạo mua cho lụt sạch ở bây giờ là ở giờ rồi nhau rồi bên trong sinh phò bên lá thì nhau rồi giang khăn tên nó bố cụ chỉ tàu cho tôi cho được số lượng sai但是有一号个被哈số mong rồi ritual lưu vang của tàu mong rồi David Gabi tàu sẽ thẳng xuống đó lớn nó này ya ở chỗ nào chứ ta mà chỉ lúc sau của cho mình chỉ rồi ritual lưu vang từ director Operation Popcorn của David Gabi.
Good to see you.
So nice to see you. Thanks for talking to me today.
So before we talk about the film, I would like you to introduce yourself to the Hmong community, so we know who you are.
Sure, yeah. So my name's David Grabius. I'm a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker. I've been making documentary films for 20 years. Most of my films have been broadcast on PBS, on HBO, on Discovery Channel, National Geographic, and most of the films that I make look at issues of identity, cultural identity, ethnic identity, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, what got into your interest to to produce this particular film?
Sure. So the last film that I made for public television looked at the Cambodian community and the issue of deportation. A lot of Cambodian kids were being deported back to Cambodia, which was pretty tragic. And we finished the film, and we were doing screenings with the Southeast Asian community all over the United States at the time. This is in 2007, and after one of the screenings, someone came up to me and said, this film you're doing is great, but if you really want an interesting story, you should look, I don't know if you've heard, but this guy named General Vang Pao got arrested the other day, and that's the story you should be making a film about. And I didn't know, but I read some of the news reports and looked into it, and it was just such an incredible, crazy, fascinating story that I thought it was worth pursuing. And so I traveled. I live in Los Angeles. I went up to Sacramento and met with Lo Chatao and some of the defendants and managed to get access to film and started and just it went from there.
Now, did you have experience working with the Hmong community before, this film, or is this the first time that?
No, I was aware of the Hmong community just through work with the Southeast Asian community. I'd been involved with this last film doing citizenship drives and some stuff there, but I knew very little. So for me, it was a new experience. Kind of getting to know the Hmong community and really trying to understand the situation.
Now let's talk about the film. the film is not like started last year and then finished this year, but it's more than that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So it took us 7 years to make this film. We started filming in 2008, the period right after General Vang Pao and the others were arrested, and we started filming at that time. We filmed on and off for about 3 years, almost 4 years, and then took a little bit of a break, and then managed to get some access to some other footage, and it just took a long time. It's a very complicated story, very complex, and it took a long time to kind of get through all of the different perspectives, everyone's different story, to kind of understand what really happened. So it's been a long road.
Yeah. Can you brief, kind of review a little bit about the film? I think you touched a little bit on that, but can you elaborate that a little bit? So we kind of, everyone kind of like, okay, this film's about what?
Sure. So the film focuses mostly on the case surrounding General Vang Pao and the others who were arrested in 2007 and accused of trying to overthrow the Lao government. So the film, we focus primarily in the film on the character of Lo Cha Tao, who was one of the defendants and who was accused by the government as being kind of one of the primary defendant. And we tell Lo Cha's personal story, his history as an individual, born in Laos, escaping Laos from the war, arriving in the United States as a refugee, and kind of growing up here, getting involved in the community and politics. We use his story to kind of tell the larger context of the Hmong story, of the Hmong experience. And then from there, we talk about how he got involved in this, how it started, who we talked to, who we met, and then the rest of the film kind of goes through that story, that case, using footage from the ATF, from other places, to kind of really show what happened, who was talking to who, and how it all kind of unraveled, leading up to the arrests of everyone.
Now I believe that this film is under PBS program. Can you tell us a little bit about that too, and how they can be playing?
Sure. So the film was funded by the California Humanities Council and the Center for Asian American Media. The Center for Asian American Media is a part of public television, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and so through them the film will air on PBS in 2016, next spring. As soon as we will know more in the fall in terms of details of dates and times, which I'll be excited to share. But so it will air on PBS, and then between now and then, over the course of the next 6 months, a year, we'll be screening the film at film festivals, and then trying to organize community events to try and get the film out there and share it with the community.
Now, after 7 years, now it's completed. How do you feel about making this film?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty amazing story. I mean, I think it's the story of not just Lo Cha Tao, who's an interesting character, but of the community itself, and of this very I think important period in Hmong history. The arrest of General Vang Pao, the death of General Vang Pao, and this transition period between the older generation and the younger generation, kind of rising up and becoming the leaders of the community. I think it's an incredible story from that perspective. I think for me, a lot of the film has to do with the idea of, what is it, how does one become a leader in the community? Do you become a leader like in the old days, or do you become a leader in the new days? How does that work? And sometimes it doesn't work. Yes. And so for me, that's a pretty impressive point. And I think, it's also, one of the most amazing things for me was, during the period when the case was on trial, there were a series of rallies that were held in Sacramento, all over the country. And, and at those rallies, you would have thousands of people who came out, both older generation, but also a lot of young people, high school kids, university kids. And to see this younger generation for the first time kind of come to terms and begin to understand and try and make sense of their own history and what this case meant and how they could kind of take that and turn it into their own story was pretty amazing.
Now, this film, the title of this film is Operation Popcorn. Why is that?
So the title of the film comes from a document where, when Locha and the others were talking to this arms dealer, this weapons dealer, he asked them for their plan. He said, "Oh, what's the plan?" And so
like a project name or something.
A project name, yeah. And they didn't really have any document or any plan. And so they talked, and they had someone write up kind of a script for what the plan could be, and that person named it Operation Popcorn.
Sau nó khó sầu đợi bé số sự nhau trong món nó bé lối thẳng là do mấy sự là mình chứ là sai chủ đồ xong nó xong áp hàng cầu chứ là nó bé cho mấy sự là các mình sai đồ tê to trong họ bé chứ xây giờ lúc trong phát thiết nó mà nhau trong sáng cầu tê hồ tê cho là chùa mua lại cứ ít bùa tự mài luôn tại tôi chặt tê nhớ làng hai chặt tê bờ sứ lúc trong là nó như sát rồi lại cứ tự bé phẳng tự phi nhau chùa giang cầu tê để lúc tê cho là chùa như là xong ít phẳng cho bùa trao chọi sang đó trong phủ tới chờ mình cả nó sai tàu cho lu radar cứ giờ lu lu sai tàn thao rồi ý bên gì lu tới chờ là chùa chả tới tôi nhớ là tôi ha nước khát rồi hả ta cho nhau là giờ sai cho nhau cái dạng sang thái tây tôi mong tới chờ là chùa còn nó giờ ít khó cứ bố sai lại tàu tôi tăng lu radar nó cũng chỉ tuân chỉ trong nhau trong lu một sai là một khổng là lu chứ bố một số này cứ có ý tù lại có auto sức ta sẽ thầu cơ nhau cô nhớ sẽ tông để lấy cái gì để ý xong đào ra sức xong ý phản cho bộ trò chọn gì đào chế tu cô họ trồng phứ nhớ lang cô tàu tua tranh tàu ha tu cô một tua chế lu còn là cô cho ít họ cứ cho lấy trò cờ lại giờ còn nói ít họ cứ bé sáng cho nó bé đặc cho mình sẽ một sai ha ta lúc trong phát thì nó nhau được họ từ ta giờ lên đó xong nó rich và lưu vang cô tàu một phiên chùa tàu đặc mình gì đồ sang tết trời cứ giờ trong phát thì cứ nhau đồ sang sinh hộ pan là giờ nhau đồ sang cậu tên là tết trời là chùa ha tết trời nhá lang
khi chỗ này chỉ cái trả thế trong bây giờ mà chùa trong số tu lúc nào cũng là cho trong đời giờ sửa dây trong đời lúc trong phụ phát thì sẽ nên bỏ nhau đồ bó tí lúc trong này bỏ nhau trong nó giờ hồi trong giờ rồi nó giờ rồi nó trong đời thắt chặt nó thì tia bây giờ chỉ mới sửa một trăm đô bó tí đó xí mà bây tôi nhau đồ nó dành đua đồ này sẽ được bỏ ý trong gì lúc trong này bỏ nhau đồ để cố gắng nó lúc bó tí giờ lúc trong phụ phát thì đại ứng đã có nó đó họ mà thầu cho lâu kia hay tiền là lúc rồi hạ bò nữa nè rồi hạ bò nó nhớ sáng đại ứng đã có nó cho họ nhà họ cũng tây tây thì nó chỉ giờ lúc rồi cả hai nè thấu rồi cả hai chỉ một đôi trống rồi nè một đôi trống rồi chỉ lúc lo thì nó chỉ giàu trong phát thì nè còn đại ứng đã có nó luôn đã chỉ thấu họ thì nên cho nên trả nhớ sát tiểu nên kể tới chuyện là mùa hồi trả ta tất cả là biết là chỉ là hoa thì lúc trong từ xa nè chỉ đẩy trong từ xa thì nhá họ nó chỉ đâu từ trước từ sáng thì tất cả là thì trong nhu là hồi thì trong vùng ngoài lại chỉ nhà nó sát đó thì cầu kê nó chỉ là hồi đó tao nó hồi tao thì tàu nhà nó phụ chín nụ nữa nè phụ chín nụ một trâu thao phụ chín nụ chỉ một trâu hôn nôn là hồi tao thì trong hôn nôn nữa nè chỉ là một chết đó chết tao nó là chỉ nó là lúa rọt cầu rọt có hai nó một chỉ một trâu nhà nó phụ chín nụ thao phụ chín nụ chỉ mà một trâu trong hôn nôn chỉ tao nó là hồi đó thì nó thì cho hồi đó và nhân ra trong từ sát đó thì nó cho tí chỉ là hồi tao thì trong chỗ qua chỉ trong chỗ qua là chỉ trả lâu yên bao mà nhà nó chỉ bé cháu rồi nhà nó chỉ bé là nhá chỉ bé cúp bao chỉ tao thì luôn giờ trong chỗ qua giờ lúc thì tiền đó xí giờ nhớ thì cho hồi đó thì nó và nhà nó ra bao chuột tới nó sát đó tí chỉ là hồi tao thì trong chỗ qua thì nhá sát đó tí nào vậy thì bây giờ cái bữa thì cho hoa và cho họ chỉ là 5 giờ từ 5 chỉ nhớ kia nữa tụi tôi phải thi bóng thả là họ chỉ lấy những hai cái thì đen tới đen nhớ họ kia lấy những hai lên tới đây 5 nhớ kia nhớ họ và nhớ tụi tôi trong phải thi họ bắt chuẩn dây kia nữa họ đi bắt cái hay thổ lúc bắt chuẩn là một sư em ý nhọ kỳ để sử dụng để chơi giàu hóa chơi ven để họ lúc đẩy sao lúc trong lâu nó đáp rồi nó nhân ra là có ai liệt thì chỉ chẳng thì lúc hiện giờ trong Á Liên thìว่าจะเกิดชื่อÁ Liên thì chỉ chẳng thì cái hiện đó chỉ bỏ cái lúc đạiว่าเนี่ยนะรอเขาจะเวียนเนาะเนี่ยแต่สิ่งเนี่ยนะฮะที่ออกเขาว่าเนี่ยนะออกเขาได้เหลียวเอาลูกhiện giờได้เหลียวอยู่เกิดตอนนั้นเจแล้วให้ตาที่ตัวเต้นตายวันเจนสุดตรงแบบที่เจียคนเดียวเกี่ยตัวเต้นตายว่าที่เขาเชิญเจสิลูกตรงไหนที่เขาเชิญเจสิจริงเจเกี่ยแต่เขาว่าเนี่ยนะเขาว่าเนี่ยนะปวดต่อเขาว่ารู้ได้更高一เขาเตี้ย上来จีจะเจนเจตัวสองลูกเกี่ยรู้จักก็ให้ที่จีเขาเรามุ่งย่อเราหาปอนเรามุ่งย่อเราเต่าอย่างน้อยเต่าปวดที่รู้ไหมคนย่อเนาะแต่สิ่งลุ้นด้วนด้านเนี่ยนะอย่างจะรู้จักปวดเต่าเตยต่อไปอ่ะเดี๋ยวนี้รู้จักก็ให้
trong phong hai cái tin mà số 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 từ bên Hmong Report nhớ trong món cũng cho là sau đó cũng trên tàu là tại cái dạng nó ý dạng cái trên chỗ bên trên Hmong số là giờ tàu là cho cỡ hay là tàu cho sai ok giờ lên tàu hai cha sai là tại số đồ lưu lý tàu đây cũng mà trong anh chỉ mấy số là nó cũngว่าnhớ trong Hmong Report tổ trên trong sao cái mấy tổ giờ tại thì họ một trang chỉ nó là sao sát lệ chỉ hồ tàu trong bên Hmong Report tàu số là giờ bao nhiêu xong là ta bên Hmong lúc này số cái số lưu của sản là bên tàu một số cái bạn rồi dùng cho tận đây bây tôi nhớ tập lo cho hiệu nó về cụ tàu tôn ru lúc tây lúc chờ nó phèn ổn nọ chứ xử lý về cụ mua cho senator cụ mua cho city council cụ mua cho trong thủ lệ lại tây ổn nọ chứ ổn lo giờ tạm lô cái police là cái mua phải là chỉ là cái mua chút cái tàu lô rồi lô nọ chứ cho mọi tu cho là của tàu cây sa một thủ phố của tàu chủ trốn đang colonial tiền đại lệ thì nói là bên Hmong nhớ trong cái trời mình gặp đó cho xong cũng vậy khỏi kế và mình là ta giờ lên là bên Hmong sáng hạt ta bên Hmong Report sáng có bên số lời hai dạy giờ sẽ luôn sự đó nên tận đây của bên Hmong một chỗ một luôn ha cái nọ chứ nhớ trong cái trời mình gặp nó là của một bên sa là rủi ro xin chết luôn là nó cũng vậy mà